All right, here we go. I would like to call the meeting to order. This is the Manitou Springs City Council regular meeting, and it is March 3rd at 6 p.m. And let's begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. And roll call.
City Council members John Shada.
Here.
Julie Wolf.
Here.
Nate Nassif.
Present.
Carrie Storm.
Present.
Gloria Latimer. Present. Mayor Pro Tem Judith Chandler.
Present.
And Mayor Natalie Johnson.
Here. Okay, before we begin with approval of the agenda, a couple items. The first, I would like to read a little statement. I would like to take a moment to acknowledge the military conflict in the Middle East. While the duration of this conflict is unknown, we do know that our community, family, and friends are currently impacted directly and indirectly by these attacks. It is my hope that as things progress, we will step up and do what we can to help one another navigate this difficult moment in our country's history. While we cannot protect the ones we love, we can be their anchor. Let's be the anchor when we can and look for others to be that anchor when we need it. Take care, everyone. And with that, I know, Denise, that you wanted to introduce a couple new staff members.
Yeah, Elena, I'll have you introduce Alex first, if that's okay.
Thank you. So I'm delighted to introduce Alex Riegelman. He's our new communications manager. Many of you may have already seen him around. He's quite literally been hitting the pavement since day one, introducing himself to the public and business owners. He comes from a strong background of communications and government communications and community engagement. So we're excited to have him on our team and excited to see what he does for the community and our engagement processes. Alex, would you like to come and speak a few words?
And just push the button so that it turns green. And then you have to be pretty close to the microphone.
Thank you guys for having me. I'm really excited to have this opportunity to serve a community that I love and that I've been a part of for about half a decade. As Elena said, I come from a long background in communications, but it's nice to be working for a cause and an organization that I believe in. So thank you again for having me.
Okay, thank you, Alex. Okay, and
then I'll have Becca introduce our new budget analyst.
Good evening. We have another Nate. This is Nate Moore, and he is our new senior budget analyst. And we are going to load him up with work right away. He is going to be hitting the ground running. He comes from a financial background of being a finance director for the city of Ellsworth, Maine, and decided that Colorado would be a better place to live. He and his family, not just him. So say a few words.
First of all, excited to be here. Thank you for welcoming me to the city. Just moved here, like I said, Saturday night I got here. So already gotten the ground running, but like she said, coming from Ellsworth, Maine, I know most of you probably don't know what Ellsworth, Maine is because most people don't go to Maine. But it's a very similar community to Manitou Springs. It's about 30 minutes outside of Bar Harbor, Acadia National Park. So it's a tourist town, similar to Manitou. Population's around 8,000. So very similar. And like I said, bringing my finance background, excited to work with Becca and the rest of the team. And Denise, obviously, very excited to work with you. And like I said, excited to move Manitou forward.
And I Just want to mention Becca will be doing the audit. So Becca is focused on the audit and Nate will be doing the budget aspect of it. So with Becca's help as of course and knowledge, but that's how we're going to be dividing the responsibilities at this point.
All right, thank you. Welcome. Yeah, excellent.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Becca. Okay. Let's see. Next up, approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Great, and a vote.
Motion carries unanimously.
Okay, thank you. And then next up, we have public comment on non-agenda items. And I have Elva here, and it looks like Elva Wolin. I'm not quite sure, but if you'd like to come forward and have a seat. Okay, and then push the button. And you're gonna have to speak pretty close to the microphone. Start with your name and address, and then you have 3 minutes.
Okay. My name is Elva Wolin. My address is 124 North Tejon Street, Colorado Springs, 80903. Okay. Good evening, council. My name is Elva Wolin. I'm a Colorado native, and I'm the proud owner of the Candy Bar on Manitou Avenue. I love Colorado, and I especially love Manitou, and I take great pride in making our visitors' visits joyful and a joyful and memorable experience. We're home to the world's sourest candy, the world's largest gummy bear, lots of locally made candy, and much more. Unfortunately, I'm not here to talk about how great things are. I'm here because my building is being damaged by the elements, and I can't address the damage until code violations at the adjoining property have been dealt with. You have detailed communications that we've had with code enforcement and the city administrator. I just, let's see. Code enforcement has refused to help us with this issue. And we've approached him twice, and both times they've said it was a civil matter. This is code enforcement has been okay, let me see here. Sorry. It's really frustrating that code enforcement has number one, was flagrantly illegal. And their inaction endangers the public and creates a potential liability if someone should get hurt.
Can you speak can you just
yeah.
lower, you can lower the
Yeah.
microphone even with your
Okay.
hand if you
Okay.
want to get it closer. Thank you.
Okay. It's their inaction may endanger the public, and it could cause potential liability. And okay, let's see. Tonight, I'm asking for council to ensure that code enforcement fulfill its duties under the law. I'm still hoping that we can resolve this cooperatively as time is running out. Thank you for the opportunity for speaking tonight.
Excellent. Thank you, Elva. And just so you're aware, typically council can't respond in the moment, but we do have your information and we will follow up on this. And then there's additional ways for you to communicate with us as well if this doesn't work out. So
Perfect.
thank you for this first step.
Okay.
Is there any additional public comment on non-agenda items tonight? Do we have any on Zoom or anything? Okay. Excellent. Next up, we have the consent calendar. And on the consent calendar, we have the February 17th, 2026 City Council minutes and the on-call water and sewer services contract award to 633 Construction LLC. And do I have, we can take one of these off if anyone has any questions. I see that you're,
I'd like to take number 2 off, on-call water and sewer services contract award.
okay, excellent. So we'll start off with item F1 for the consent calendar. Do I have a motion to approve item F1?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Great. And a vote.
Motion carries unanimously.
Okay. And next up then, we have the on-call water and sewer services contract. And Gloria, do you want to kick us off with your
I have
question?
just a few questions, and I didn't see in anything in the contract which specified a response time. Does anybody know how quickly they are they are able to respond, particularly during the weekend?
Yes, they have to respond within 24 hours, and we have to get initial notification where we come out and assess the site within 2 hours. And there is a whole triage of who we contact there's a primary contact at the company, a second contact at the company, and there's a whole forwarding tree for that.
So someone would be there within 2 hours?
To look at it.
And
then
would response and work begin within 24 hours?
correct.
And Ben, is $1 million liability insurance, is that standard? As I was looking through the contract, there's a lot of equipment and things like that, things that could go wrong.
Yeah, I mean, it's really up to like this city, what's an appropriate number. I've been asked that a lot of times, and our standard contract has $1 million in it. Yeah, we had another client that we put 2 million in, and they got all kinds of pushback from contractors. And so they went back down to $1 million just because of the cost. Yeah, there's no specific perfect number. $1 million doesn't go very far these days,
Right.
but it can cover a fair amount. So it's just kind of a balance, to be honest with you. And I don't have a great answer other than $1 million is what we've been using for a while, and nobody's ever had to hit that. So.
Thank you. And my last question, I did not see a not to exceed amount. Is there one?
So every one of these tasks is based on a task order approach.
Right.
So every time we call the contractor to come out and look at one of these sites or perform work, it's all based on task orders and unit quantities rather than the T&M approach, which the city has utilized in the past. This task order approach and this unit quantity approach gives us a very clear picture of what the cost is going to be for every one of these events per task. So while there's a not to exceed quantity, we know what the cost is going to be up front and can approve it in the task order before it ever moves forward.
So if you get to a budget limitation, you would just not approve any further task?
Correct.
Like Denise, do you want to respond to that? Because I know it's a little
I was going to
complicated.
say it depends, because if it's of an emergency and it's going to go over that 50,000, right? I have the authority to go ahead and approve it and then let you guys know. Because at 2 o'clock on a Saturday morning, if that's when we need them here, then we need to take action accordingly. So it would be as we move forward. The one, for instance, at Savelli's was a collapsed sewer line that we had to work on immediately to get it moving.
Yep. Julie, go ahead.
Denise, is this something we've had in the past?
Yeah, we've had on-call all the time on water. The last one was a different contract. We have it for our engineering whenever we need something very quickly. It really does save us money by doing this. Otherwise, you have to go out for RFP. By doing on-call, we know exactly what the cost is going to be. We've negotiated that cost, and they're usually below doing just a simple project. So you always have this on. We have engineering, we have surveying, we have also on-call for planning when we need help with planning. So this is a normal practice, and we've done it for at least the last 15 years, if you look back.
Have we used the same contractor for the last 15 years?
No, we try to send out a new RFP about every 3 years to make sure that we're getting the right deal. And that we're getting the best deal, not the right deal, but that we do the negotiations. And it also ensures that we don't get too friendly with any one contractor, that it doesn't become a friendly relationship, but it stays professional.
And so this contract is a result of an RFP that you put out? Okay, thank you.
Okay, and Judith, go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. I had just asked this morning for one minor correction for the record. It's on page 3 of 24 of the contract under number 3 cleanup, paragraph B, to change the city may cause the cleanup to be performed at contractor's expense to the city will cause the cleanup to be performed at the contractor's expense. And that is in keeping with the intent of the rest of the paragraph. And I did discuss this morning about making sure that when the 50,000 number is triggered, that council be notified to approve any costs above that. So these being unit prices. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, okay, go ahead, Nate.
Hey, Ben. And it sounds like you've worked with these folks for a while and they've inspired confidence with you. How many times did you have to engage them in 2025? And I know each year there could be high variation. It could run from 0 to end sort of thing. So.
Yeah, and when we're looking at engaging, there's a couple of different scenarios that we engage them in. So there's the true emergencies where our crew is taken up, say, for example, there's 2 water breaks going on in the city at the same time. Our entire crew may be on one water break or helping turn off valves for the other one, and we really need somebody to respond to take care of the other one. Or some of the bigger events where we just don't have the equipment or some of the specialty tools that we need to be able to do that. That's where these contractors really come into play. So there's pre-planned work. So if our crews are busy taking care of all their other day-to-day stuff, and there's pre-planned work that we can schedule on in advance, say like a utility hole replacement or something like that, then that's one of the instances. And I believe in 2025, there were about 4 instances where we used that there. And then there are the emergency instances where, like we use the example of the collapsed sewer line, which everybody felt the impacts of. And those bigger events, they can range. This year, we've been really lucky. And at the end of the last year, I think that was around 5 or 6, but we really try hard not to utilize those emergencies unless we absolutely have to, just because they're expensive.
I move approval of the on-call water and sewer services contract award to 633 Construction LLC as presented.
Oh, wouldn't it be subject to the language that you suggested with
Believe that
using
was-
shall?
Yes, subject to the change that I believe was made today already. Yes, thank you. Yes, thank you.
Okay, excellent. Well, okay, so she added that. So, and a second?
Second.
Great, and a vote.
Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you, Council.
Thank you, Ben. Okay, next up, here we go. Consider appointing Anthony Lane to the Open Space Advisory Committee as an alternate member. All right, excellent.
Good evening, David Conley, 335 Rockledge Lane. I'm the current chair of the Open Space Advisory Committee. The committee has 7 regular members and it's authorized to have 3 alternates. We're fortunate to already have 2 alternates, so we have 1 opening. Anthony Lane had applied back in the fall. He has attended at least 3 that I remember, and I'm thinking 4 of our meetings. And the committee had recommended his approval, the appointment approval to you, and Mr. Lane is here tonight.
Excellent. Yes. Let's see. I guess, yeah, introduce yourself and tell us why you would like to join.
Hi, Anthony Lane, 124 Fairview Avenue. I've been on the Parks and Recreation Board for a couple of years now, and when I got involved with that, we were fairly new to Manitou or moved back here and wanted to be involved and was hoping to get involved in the Open Space Advisory Committee as well, but have a time commitment on Monday evenings, just making it impossible to do both. And so I decided that it's time. I'm pretty much a daily trail user and really appreciate that that part of what the city offers and want to get involved in this group.
All right, that's exciting. Any questions for Anthony?
I don't have a question, but I'm looking at your resume. So thank you for stepping up with public policy experience and quite a bit of leadership experience. Thank you.
All right, Judith.
Just one question. Yes, excellent resume. And thank you for stepping up to the plate. Favorite 14 or since you've done them all?
It's tough. Cresto Needle is pretty fun. Yeah.
Okay.
I
Okay.
disagree. Pyramid.
That was also.
Excellent. All right, do I have a motion to approve Anthony Lane to the Open Space Advisory Committee as an alternate member?
So moved.
And a second.
Second.
We got, I think, okay, and a vote.
Motion carries unanimously.
Excellent, thank you. And-
Can I revise my answer? I think Pikes Peak actually.
Good save. All right. Thank you again. Okay, next up, we have consider appointing Jehan Ara Khan to the Historic Preservation Committee as an alternate member. Jehan, come on up.
Is that the button?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's perfect. Okay,
Good evening,
excellent.
Ms. Mayor and councilors. I'm Laura Kinseth, HPC Chair at 229 Santa Fe Place. And I would like to introduce Jehan Ara Khan for your consideration as an alternate member of the HPC. She has many skills and qualifications, foremost as an educator. And she also has her own business, and we feel she'd be a real asset to the committee. So.
Take it away.
Sure.
Hi, council. Thank you for having me. I think you already have my resume and just to give you a little bit of, 36 Washington Ave, apartment B. And I think you already have my resume, and I know that you kind of gave a little introduction about me, but just to give you a sense of why I want to do this. I've been obsessed with history and architecture forever, and I think you might already know that I had formal training and took courses in Turkey on Byzantine, Ottoman, and Roman architecture and civilization, and got to see some really cool stuff hands-on. But I would rather tell you how excited I was when I started looking back at some lesson plans I made for my students. I had the honor and gift of being a teacher in some really cool historic neighborhoods. So Old Town Alexandria is right outside of DC, and Philadelphia, of course. And I lived always in the oldest parts of the city. And I'll kind of combine some of these because I don't want to talk too long, because I think I'm on the agenda twice. So one of the lessons was I lived in a very historic building, and I would have my students, we did like a case study of my neighborhood, and we would have the students interview the buildings. And I think the way to put it is that I really love the stories that places tell. And so having my students interview buildings, what did they see at this time period? What materials were used? What people passed by? And so I think, I really always had this love of history and architecture and finding the stories from non-living things, honestly. And I'll tell you one last story because this one is just really, really cool. When I was very, very young, my very first childhood home was in Massachusetts, and something didn't line up right about the walls, and we were investigating, and then we were talking to the community, and apparently everyone said our house was part of the Underground Railroad, and we were convinced, and something didn't line up with the walls, but we didn't have a lot of money. And so when we moved out, they did knock down the wall. They found out there was a hidden room in there. It was filled with things that we'll never know that were in there. And this is 40 years ago now. They just recognized that town as a stop on the Underground Railroad 2 years ago. So we were totally right about it. It was super cool, and I wish I could go back there and look at it. But yeah, this love of history, architecture, uncovering stories has been my thing since I was probably 6 when that happened. So just to give you a little background about that.
Yeah.
It was super cool.
Any additional questions? I think her passion came through.
I'm like, let me tell you more about these lesson plans.
All right. Do I have a motion to approve appointing Jehan Ara Khan to the Historic Preservation Commission as an alternate member?
So moved.
And a second.
Second.
Great. And a vote.
Counselor Latimer. Motion carries unanimously.
Excellent. All right. And don't go anywhere.
Okay.
All right.
Short and sweet.
But thank you, Laura. I think you are excused.
Thank you so much.
And so next up, we have consider appointing Jehan Arakan to the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board as a regular member. And I don't know if we don't have anyone, so you have.
Holly's here for support, but.
Excellent, excellent. So yeah, can you just tell us a little bit about why you would like?
This will be very short and sweet. So when I first, a little bit after I first moved to Manitou, almost 4 years ago, I tore my Achilles, my dad died, and I was going through a divorce all at the same time. I couldn't walk, completely immobile. I promise you, Manitou Park saved my life, and that is real. And so I feel indebted forever to this town, to these parks. I will say, this is kind of like a movie, but I was completely immobile and I could see the Manitou incline out my window. And I'm like, if this was a movie, I would climb that at the end of this. But it wasn't a movie and I didn't climb it yet, but I might. But I will say, like I said, I am indebted to Manitou Parks forever for the rest of my life. So short and sweet. I'll stop talking.
Excellent. All right. Excellent. Any additional questions? Okay. Do I have a motion to appoint Jehan Arakan to the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board as a regular member?
So moved.
Okay, we'll give Julie that, and then the second to Gloria, and a vote.
Motion carries unanimously.
All right, excellent. Thank you very
all
much.
so much.
It wasn't. All right, and next up, we have consider appointing Ruth Marquardt to the Housing Advisory Board as a regular member. And I do not see Ruthie here, but we do have all of her information. And I don't know if anyone would like to make any comments. Oh, Allison. Oh, excellent. Oh, thank you. Sorry. I apologize. Oh, hey,
Hi,
Allison.
thank you. Sorry, late work
Yeah, if
day.
you could just introduce Ruth to us a little.
Sure. So my name is Allison Gerbig, and I'm the Housing Advisory Board Chair. I live at 314 Terrace Place, and Ruthie applied as an alternate back, last year, and just I had some life changes, and we were shuffling around, and Ruthie stayed engaged and did attend one of our 2026 HAB board meetings and was excited to be part of the community as someone who is interested in affordability. We were really excited for her community involvement, her background in like grant writing and research. She had originally applied as an alternate, and then we had some changes within our board. And so tonight we're asking for her to be approved as a full member. And I believe she's on as well. Can she get promoted? I think she sent me a text. She says, I don't see an option to message or turn on my mic. She says, I see an option to raise my hand, but maybe someone needs to promote her to be
She's been promoted, so it looks like we might just be having a technical error.
Right. Been promoted. Let me see.
But that being said, I do believe the packet is complete. So we do have what we need in order to vote this evening. And then we can I would say, Ruthie's in the neighborhood, so we can always track her down and wish her well.
Yeah, she just says that she can hear us all. She just can't, she can't speak, darn it. So I'm not sure what the
Can you hear
issue
me
is.
now?
Oh, we can, yes. Excellent.
Hooray! Okay, sorry about that.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit why you'd like to be on the HAB board.
Yeah, I feel like this starts off coming from a place of like feeling so in awe and grateful to be living in Manitou and to have been able to be a homeowner in Manitou, thanks to the wonkiness of what was going on during COVID, and feel very passionate about wanting to continue to make sure that Manitou is a place that people of all backgrounds can see themselves and can live, whether as renters or homeowners, and feel excited about what's happening with ADU policy in Manitou, and excited to learn more behind the scenes as well. So was thrilled to attend just at the end of last year, one of the HAB meetings. And yeah, like Allison said, really excited with, especially with an eye for affordability and keeping our amazing town accessible. And excited to contribute whatever skills, especially like grant writing skills. I have both like federal government and state government and foundation grant writing experience, and would just love to continue to learn more and contribute what I can.
Excellent. Thank you. Do we have any additional questions? Okay. Nate would
Just
like to
say
say a few.
with Ruth and Barack are my neighbors. So Ruth, just thank you so much for joining HAB. I'm the council liaison for the Housing Advisory Board. So special thanks to you for taking this on, and thanks to you too, Allison.
Excellent. So do I have a motion to consider appointing Ruth, or actually I should say to appoint Ruth Marquardt to the Housing Advisory Board as a regular member?
I'll move approval.
Okay, and a second?
Second.
Okay, and a vote.
Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Goodbye.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night. Bye.
Okay, next up, we have second reading and public hearing of ordinance number 0426, an ordinance repealing and reenacting Title 15, Chapter 15.12 of the Manitou Springs Municipal Code and adopting by reference the 2021 edition of the International Fire Code with amendments thereto. Let's see, thank you for joining us today.
You're welcome. Good evening. As we discussed at, excuse me, at the work session and then again at the first reading, we're recommending adoption of the 2021 edition of the International Fire Code. Since those meetings have taken place, nothing within the code or the document has changed. So with that, if you have any questions for me, I'd be happy to answer them.
Okay, excellent. I know we've had a work session, like you said, we've discussed this quite a bit. Do we have any additional questions? Gloria?
Just one for clarification. This only apply, well, first of all, the code is updated every 10 years. Is that right?
The fire code is typically updated every 3 years.
Okay.
There is not a requirement to
Okay.
adopt the latest edition, but typically it's a 3-year
All right,
process.
thank you. And I note that it is particularly applicable to new construction in the Wildland urban interface. This would not have any impact on the historical district, would it, in terms of if a fire destroys a home in that area, would they then, are they exempt from this in terms of new materials being fire resistant?
If the property was destroyed, no, then it would have to be built back with the fire resistant materials recommended in the code.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, since this is a second hearing, I do have to open this up to the public for comment. And so with that, I do open up the hearing. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak on ordinance number 0426? And is there anyone online? Okay, excellent. Thank you. I now close the public hearing, and is there a motion to approve ordinance number 0426, an ordinance repealing and reenacting Title 15, Chapter 15.12 of the Manitou Springs Municipal Code and adopting by reference the 2021 edition of the International Fire Code with amendments thereto?
I move approval.
Excellent. And a second? Okay, second by Judith. And any additional questions before we vote? All right, and a vote.
Motion carries unanimously.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, next up, we have second reading and public hearing for ordinance number 0326, an ordinance of the City of Manitou Springs, Colorado, amending section 1.32.150 of the Manitou Springs Municipal Code by the addition of a new subsection D concerning municipal penalties. And I believe, Jeff, this is
Happy to do it.
your issue. All
Yeah,
right.
no, you recall last meeting, I sort of explained this, but there's a Supreme Court decision that came out that said if there is a state statute that prohibits essentially the same criminal conduct as a municipal ordinance, the municipal ordinance can't impose a penalty that's greater than the state statute's penalty. So we're adding a new section to basically codify that holding in the case. It just basically says that you can't have any penalties in this code that exceed the state counterparts penalties shall not apply, and the state counterparts penalties do. So.
Excellent. Any questions for Jeff? Yep, Julie, go ahead.
Yes, yeah, that's correct. There was for traffic. And so it's a great question. Now I got to look at this, but I want to make sure now that I think about this, because the traffic penalties, that's why did I not put, okay, I got to think this through now. Yes, a good question. I want to take a look at one section of your code while we're sitting here.
Okay.
Just was looking at your code a second ago.
Okay. And while he's looking, are there any additional questions for Jeff? Okay.
The traffic, what I'm looking for is your traffic section should have a separate penalty provision that doesn't apply, that's not the same as your general penalty provision. I want to just make sure I didn't miss something. Give me 1 second here.
If I had read it carefully, I wouldn't have to ask you. I would know.
No, it's
I
good.
decided to take it easy and ask
I
you.
appreciate it. Let me see here. Code. Got it. Here we are. There we are. Violations, penalties. You know, I think it's actually, we have a separate penalty provision for violations of the municipal traffic code. So, let me go back to your ordinance here.
Yeah, I just want to make sure this
Yep.
ordinance doesn't conflict with
Yeah,
that.
no, it's a good question. Let me see here. You know, I think it would be helpful to actually add, just say, except for traffic offenses. I think that's a good one. Yeah. So that's what I'd recommend. We could say, for any criminal offense imposed by municipal court for which a maximum penalty is established by Title 18 CRS, other than traffic offenses, and such maximum penalty is less severe. That's where I would add it.
Excellent. All right. Okay, and then with that change, I'm going to open up the public hearing. And do I have anyone in the audience that would like to comment on the public hearing for ordinance number 0326? And anyone online? Okay, excellent. And with that, I will close the public hearing. And any additional questions? Okay, so do I have a motion to approve on second reading the ordinance number 0326, an ordinance of the City of Manitou Springs, Colorado, amending section 1.32.150 of the Manitou Springs Municipal Code by the addition of a new subsection D concerning municipal penalties, and with the additional correction stated by Jeff Parker, including the traffic violations. Do I have a motion? Yes.
I move to approve ordinance 0326, subject to the changes articulated by the city attorney, which exempts the traffic code from this new ordinance.
Excellent. And a second?
Second.
Great. And a vote.
Motion carries unanimously.
Okay. Moving right along. And next up, we have receive or act on council correspondence. Do I have any council correspondence tonight? No? Okay, weird. All right. Well, I'm going to add a couple things. I want to thank Regina Lewis for working with us this last Saturday. And I wanted to mention that we had discussed having an open mic night on the fourth Tuesday of the month to kind of have a more casual opportunity for the community to engage with council. And looking at the schedule, it looks like the fourth Tuesday of this month would land on spring break. And so I'm actually proposing that we have the first one on Tuesday, April 28th from 5 to 7 p.m. Does that sound like something that council would be comfortable moving forward with? I have 5 to 7. We can do later. I'm just wondering if anyone would stop by on their way, like from work, to kind of quickly jump in, or what do you, what do you think?
I think making it 5, it does, I think that's actually making it more available is good. So, yeah.
Is that, yep, Julie? Mhm.
So it's not mandatory for us to be there, it's just optional?
Correct, but I do think that prior to each open mic night, I will be asking who from council plans to attend, because we do want to make sure at least 2 council people are there so that we're
Okay.
not, that we want it to work.
I just want to make sure since I'll be out of town that day.
Excellent, yep.
Mayor,
Nate?
can people join virtually too? Are we?
I am guessing not. We'll have to work out those logistics. I'll talk to Denise, but I think that there's expenses connected to that and additional staff. And so we may need to kind of keep it a little, we would have to record it, but I'm not sure. But that's a good question, and we'll just navigate that as we go forward. But my guess is that this April 28th would probably not have the virtual option.
No, I think it's fantastic. So.
It's a good start, so, okay. Yep.
Mayor, I would just like to add, I had a meeting similar to this last Tuesday at the Keg, and it was very informal, casual, worked out really well. And Angela Wilkes of the Manitou Winery offered to do a March or an April one. So if you're looking for a location.
Okay, excellent. I
Be-
mean, I
be
think we
like
were
that.
planning on City Hall, but we may want to do a casual one for March since we're not going to do one until April.
Yeah.
So that's a great conversation to have.
Thank you.
Okay, excellent. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else. And I also know that at the retreat, Counselor Storm mentioned potentially, like, would we ever be open to considering moving council to another day of the week? If that could help in terms of getting packets and information. And I do know that that was seriously considered, but that staff is not recommending that at this time, that it would actually make things more difficult. However, I think it's always good to keep in mind different opportunities. So I appreciate that suggestion. Okay, and anything else? Okay, all right, Denise, you're up.
Just a couple of things. I don't know if you noticed, but we don't have the big furnaces. We have now the small furnace, and it's a little bit warmer in here, and we'll keep it more comfortable. Also, you'll see some of the lighting has been changed out. We still have other lighting yet to be changed out and a few odds and ends. So we're getting close to getting this room completely done. Saturday is the Community Connect from 9 to 12. So hope to see all of you there, and the community come and sign up for talk to fire, talk to police, talk to city clerk, talk to finance, talk to anybody that you want. We'll have someone here from all the departments. So that will be from 9 to 12. March 19th will be our, Gloria asked us to put together a meeting before the survey goes out about the budget. So March 19th, we're going to be doing a Budget 101 class here at City Hall from 6 to probably 8. And we'll just be talking about the different funds and really talking about the budget of the general fund and how that works and where the funds come from. So that will be on March 19th. That's all I have tonight. Thank you.
Okay. Excellent. Okay, with that, we're going to be heading into an executive session, but I do want to mention that we do have tea and snacks in the back of the room. So if you do want to pause and engage in that before you head out from the audience. But with that, would anyone like to, let's move that we go into an executive session to hold a conference with legal counsel for the city for legal advice pursuant to section 5.1C of the Manitou Springs City Charter and to determine positions relative to matters that may be subject to negotiations, develop strategy for negotiations, and instruct negotiators pursuant to section 5.1D of the Manitou Springs City Charter concerning the provision of spring water to the Sunwater Spa. And so that's my motion. Do I have a second? Great. A second from Julie and a vote.
Motion carries unanimously.
Okay, and so let's see, at this, it's about 6:45, so about 7 o'clock, we will begin executive session. And so please take a moment to enjoy the refreshments in the back. Yes.